So, how did we get here? You ever stare at ChatGPT mid-conversation and think, how the hell did we go from clunky, code-heavy machines to a chatbot that can write your best man's speech? Yeah, same. To answer that, we've got to wind the clock back. Way back, not to the iPhone or even Pong. We're talking 1950. Suits, cigars, and a mathematician with one hell of a thought experiment. Alan Turing's paper and a quiet explosion, 1950. Let's set the scene. Post-1-2 Britain. Alan Turing, codebreaker, genius, and walking enigma, drops a bombshell. Computing machinery and intelligence wasn't just academic filler. It asked a wild question for its time. Can machines think? To answer that, he proposed what we now call the Turing test. If a machine can converse so well that you can't tell if it's human or not, does it count as intelligent? Simple idea. But it hit like a philosophical earthquake. At a time when most computers filled entire rooms and could barely add, Turing was already talking about machine minds. But here's the twist. Nobody really knew how to make that happen. Dreams, hype, then silence, AI winter, 1970s, 80s. Flash forward a couple decades. The 1956 Dartmouth conference happens. Yeah, that was kind of the Avengers assemble moment for AI pioneers. You had names like John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, Claude Shannon, all big brains who thought AI was just around the corner. Spoiler, it wasn't. They promised machines that could think, learn, and even feel. What we got? Clunky logic systems, brittle rule-based programs, and a whole lot of disappointment. Funding dried up. Enthusiasm tanked. Twice. AI research didn't just slow, it froze. We call that period the AI winter, and honestly, it was brutal. But beneath the snow, something was brewing. Deep Blue and the Game Heard Round the World, 1997. Garry Kasparov, the undisputed world chess champion, sits across from IBM's Deep Blue, a room-sized chess-playing behemoth. It wasn't the first time a machine beat a human at something. But this time, it felt different. It wasn't just about winning a game. It was about the symbolism, humans being outsmarted at their own intellectual game. Kasparov accused IBM of cheating. IBM just packed up Deep Blue and retired it. Why? Because they didn't want to prove machines were smarter. They already had. And honestly, that kind of win made people a little uneasy. The rise of neural nets, 2012. So what happened in the years after? The slow, steady grind of progress. Then came 2012, and ImageNet. Imagine this massive image database, and a competition where machines try to guess what's in the pictures. Enter a Canadian team using deep neural networks, think brain-inspired architectures that mimic how we learn. Their model, AlexNet, it crushed the competition, like dropping a PS5 into a Game Boy tournament. Suddenly, neural nets weren't just theory. They worked. And they worked well, big tech noticed, and poured money like champagne at a Vegas wedding. From Siri to smartass AIs, 2010s, this is where things get weirdly familiar. Apple introduces Siri in 2011. Cool at first, until she mishears play jazz as text dad, I'm pregnant. Amazon gives us Alexa. Microsoft tries Cortana, rest in peace. And Google, well, Google becomes the quiet genius in the corner, quietly feeding their AI model every search term you've ever typed at 2 a.m. And while voice assistants were fun, the real action? It was in language models, the things that would eventually become, well, this. GPT sneaky takeover, 2018-2022. So in 2018, OpenAI drops a paper about GPT, generative pre-trained transformer. No launch party, no hype train. Just a quiet, hey, this thing writes kinda well. Then came GPT-2 in 2019. OpenAI got spooked by how real it sounded and didn't release the full version at first. Because, well, imagine accidentally inventing the most convincing fake news engine ever. But it was GPT-3 in 2020 that flipped the table. 175 billion parameters. That's a ridiculous number of mental gears turning under the hood. It could write poems, code, legal documents, Tinder bios, yeah, all that. Suddenly, the Turing test wasn't a hypothetical anymore. It was happening, daily. ChatGPT, the moment everything changed, 2022. Here's the thing, GPT-3 was smart, but it still felt like a science project. Cool, but not everyday useful. Then came ChatGPT, launched November 2022. Same brain as GPT 3.5, but finally wrapped in a user-friendly chat window, and people lost their minds. 1 million users in 5 days. That's faster than Netflix, Twitter, even Instagram. It went viral before anyone even fully understood what it was. Suddenly, everyone had a pocket philosopher, therapist, coder, and writing assistant. 24/7, no judgment. The existential hangover, 2023 present. But you know how it goes. Every honeymoon has its hangover. AI tools exploded in every direction. Midjourney making art, Synthesia making fake news, videos, 11 Labs, cloning voices, AutoGPT writing code like a caffeinated intern, and with power comes panic. Will AI take my job? Is this the end of creativity? What if it becomes sentient and decides we suck? Legit questions, and no easy answers. Governments scrambled, ethics panels formed, CEOs testified. Meanwhile, TikTok was busy making memes of ChatGPT flirting with humans and writing courtroom rap battles. So, what's next? Here's the twist ending, if you want one. We still haven't passed the Turing test in a true, no doubt about it way. Why? Because humans are slippery. We change how we talk. We contradict ourselves. We're emotional, illogical, poetic, passive-aggressive, and AI, it's learning fast. But it still stumbles. It still lacks that weird, messy spark we call consciousness. Yet every new release, GPT, 4, Claude, Gemini, chips away at the line between man-made and mind-like. Turing wasn't just right, he was early on. Turing didn't just ask the right question, he gave us a roadmap, not a clean one. There were winters and warnings, victories and fears, but we followed the thread, from dusty lecture halls in the 50s to billion-dollar GPUs today. So yeah, the next time you chat with an AI and it feels just a little too human, remember, this journey started with one guy, one paper, and one mind-blowing question, and we're still answering it.